So this week on the Coaching Masters podcast, we are talking about something that I think lots of people are going to be very, very interested in. In fact, I know that lots of people are interested in this topic. How do I know that? Well, I know that primarily because of the coaching clients that I have had over the years. So over the years, every single one of my coaching clients, every one without fail, they have come to me with two issues, two things in which they want to improve, two areas of improvement in their life. And it's the same every single time. Each and every time I bring on a new coaching client, they have the issue in which they are primarily focused on, plus a lack of confidence. So I will have a client that says to me, oh, you know what? I'm having a really difficult time building up a good relationship with my kids. Plus, I lack confidence. You know what? I'm really not enjoying my work. I feel very unfulfilled. Plus, I lack confidence. You know what? I'm having a really difficult time at the moment in my relationship and I'm not sure it's quite right for me. Plus, I lack confidence. So this is something that I've heard again and again and again and again, and I hear it all the time. And you know what? I can expect, and I suspect that a lot of people listening to this episode of the podcast and a lot of people tuning in to Power Hour, which is what we do over at Coaching Mastery, our Facebook group, Packed with Value, Coaching Mastery, that leg of the Coaching Masters, which absolutely anybody can join. We record our podcasts live into that group, as you know. I'm sure that there are people watching this live, that there are people listening to this podcast and thinking, yes, I want to know how to be confident. How can I be confident? How can I develop confidence? How can I become the most confident version of myself? Or how can I just become a bit more confident than what I am right now? It's a big topic, right? It's a big topic. It's a wondrous topic. And you know what we're going to do today? We're going to go through this entire episode. And through this episode, I am going to be teaching all of you listening and watching how to develop 3 different types of confidence, because there are 3 different types of confidence. You know what? In reality, there are probably way more than that. Who knows? I don't know every single type of confidence that exists, but I do know about these 3. And I do know that these 3 are extremely powerful. And if you master these 3 different types of confidence, you could be outrageously confident. Now, what do I mean by outrageously confident? Some people would hear that and probably think, oh no, too much, too over the top. Outrageous is a bad thing. In all honesty, it's a throwaway term. It's a throwaway word. When I said outrageously confident, I wanted people to know that you can be as confident as you want to be. You can be as confident as you wish to be. So let's jump into this. Now, what are the 3 different types of confidence that we're going to be talking about today? The 3 types are what's known as natural confidence, inner confidence, and instant confidence. Okay? Natural confidence, inner confidence, instant confidence. Those are the types of confidence that we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to let you know how you can develop these 3 types of confidence. But you know what? Before I do that, I have come across some wonderful quotes about confidence. And you know what? I just want to read some of these quotes to you because I love them, right? And not only do I love these quotes, oh my God, there's so many lessons to be learned within these quotes, right? Now, this quote from a wonderful actress called Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Now, she used to be known as Priyanka Chopra, but then I do believe she got married to one of the Jonas brothers. So now she's Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Wonderful name. I love that. I love a name that bounces. Priyanka Chopra Jonas. I like names that have rhythm. I like names that have cadence, that bounce. It's really nice. Priyanka Chopra Jonas. She has one of the most wonderful quotes on confidence that exists. And I love it. It's amazing. She says, I taught myself confidence. When I'd walk into a room and feel scared to death, I'd tell myself, I'm not afraid of anybody. and people believed me. You've got to teach yourself how to take over the world. Oh my God. Oh, Priyanka Chopra Jonas. What a quote. What a quote. I taught myself confidence. When I'd walk into a room and feel scared to death, I'd tell myself, I'm not afraid of anybody. And people actually believed me. You've got to teach yourself how to take over the world. Now, the reason why I love that quote so much is because of inner confidence. Now, we're going to be talking about how to develop inner confidence very, very soon. But this is an excellent example of inner confidence. And I'm going to come back to this quote after I've taught you guys how to develop inner confidence. She is convincing people around her that she is confident. She's getting them to believe that she is confident by telling herself that she's not afraid of anybody and reminding herself that she is confident, even if in that moment it doesn't seem true. That is extremely important, because if people around you believe that you are confident, who says that you're not? You may as well be, because what's going to happen is that they are going to act around you, react around you. They're going to communicate with you in such a way that they believe you to be confident. And that is a special gift, a very special gift. Now, there's another excellent quote that I love from Tom Landry, and he says, confidence comes from knowing what you're doing. If you are prepared for something, you usually do it. If not, you usually fall flat on your face. Now, the reason I love that quote so much is because that relates to natural confidence, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. So these two quotes, they're very, very, very appropriate for what we're going to do today. They're very appropriate for the work in which we're going to go over today. But let's just dive in, shall we? Now, what I want to do is first, before we look at these techniques that I'm going to teach you, what is confidence? It's a big question, isn't it? What is it? Yeah, what is it? You know, it's a word that gets bandied around a lot. It's something that people want. It's something that people desire. It's something that a lot of people think they don't have. But I don't think that people still get a firm grasp as to what confidence actually is. Now, interestingly enough, confidence, it comes from the Latin word fidere, which means to trust, to trust. Therefore, when someone has self-confidence, it means that they have trust within themselves. They trust themselves. Now, I'm a firm believer of that in terms of how to develop self-confidence, which really is a fourth type of confidence. You know, we have natural confidence, inner confidence, and instant confidence, which I'm going to tell you about more in a moment. But there's also self-confidence. You know, it is completely different. It's having confidence in yourself, within yourself, regardless of the situation that you're in and regardless of having other people around you. It's having that level of confidence within you. And like it says there, and like I just repeated, it's all about the level of trust in which you have within yourself. It's all about that, right? Because it comes from that Latin word fidere, to trust. So how do you develop self-confidence? Well, there's one very strong, surefire way of developing self-confidence. And that is by keeping the promises that you make to yourself. Always keep the promises that you make to yourself. Because if you promise something to yourself and you keep that promise, you will develop trust within yourself. And if you develop trust within yourself, what are you developing? You're developing what in Latin, fidere means to trust, which is confidence. You will develop self-confidence because you are keeping the promises you've made to yourself. That's a very simple, very quick, very surefire way of being able to develop those foundational beginning stages of confidence, okay? Those foundational beginning stages of self-confidence. But that's not the strongest form of confidence. You know what is the strongest form of confidence? The strongest form of confidence is the first type of confidence that we're going to be talking about, natural confidence. What do I mean by natural confidence? Now, this is confidence that is naturally developed. Do I mean that it's that type of confidence that people either do or do not naturally have? No. And I don't even believe that exists. What do I mean by that? We may look at people and think, wow, they are quite clearly a confident person. Look how they dress. Look how they walk. Look how they talk. Look at their level of confidence in the way they communicate, in the way they stand. Look at what they've achieved. They must be outrageously confident. They must be a confident person. And I'm here to tell you guys right here, right now, there is no such thing as a confident or unconfident person. It doesn't exist. There are people that find themselves feeling the sensation of confidence more often than not. And there are people that find themselves in situations which fill them with a lack of confidence more often than not. But there is no such thing as a confident person and an unconfident person, because confidence can always be developed. It is always fleeting. It comes and goes, and it is entirely situational. It's entirely situational. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's think of some very, very confident people. Okay, first person that just popped into my head, Gordon Ramsay, right? Gordon Ramsay. Now, think about Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is very confident in the kitchen. He's very confident. We cannot say he's very confident, like it's this blanket umbrella term, because the second you put someone like Gordon Ramsay in a situation in which a place that he's never been, in a situation that he's never dealt with people that he doesn't know, whilst doing something that he knows absolutely nothing about, do you think his levels of confidence will be exactly the same as when he's in his own kitchen, in his restaurant? Definitely not. It's situational. It's fleeting. It comes and goes. So naturally developed confidence is something that we can develop. It's something that we can grow. It's something that we can build upon. It's not something that people either have or they don't have. It's not something that we just simply wish for. And it's not something that we should look to other people and think, oh, they're so confident. I wish I had that. Because what you're looking at is you're looking at a person who is confident within that particular situation. If we're looking at somebody that appears to be overtly confident, endlessly confident, outrageously confident, we're looking at somebody that we've never seen looking unconfident to the point where we think, you know what, they probably never do feel unconfident. It's not true. It's definitely not true. Give you another example. I can imagine a lot of people probably look at me and think, Liam's got a lot of confidence. I do a lot of training. I jump on a lot of lives. I shoot a lot of videos. I talk to a lot of people. I go out there into the public a lot of the time. Like I've done this in the past when I used to like do vlogging, when I used to be an actor, you know, I'd stand up on stage. But you know what? Did I always have the level of confidence that I've got now whilst doing those things? Definitely not. No way. And are there certain situations that I can find myself in right here, right now, in this very moment at 31 years old, brand new dad, running a business, building an empire? Are there situations in which I can feel very unconfident? Oh, yes, there are. You bet there are. There are so many situations where I can find levels, low levels of confidence, a huge lack of confidence. And you know what? There's always one thing missing. And this is the missing piece. This is what we're going to be talking about today when it comes to building natural confidence, the strongest type of confidence, not confidence that we wish for, not confidence that we pray and hope and think maybe one day we'll develop it, not confidence that we wish we were born with. Naturally developed confidence that we can develop right here, right now, in this very moment. As of today, every person that's listening to this can develop naturally powerful, abundant, outrageous confidence through the missing piece. The missing piece is competence. There is no stronger version of confidence than competence. Now, what do I mean by competence? Competence is your ability to be able to do any one thing in any one place with one level of skill, with those certain people around you. We become competent through practice, through repetition, through study, through learning, through interest. We develop competence. Why is Gordon Ramsay so confident in his kitchen? He's so confident in that kitchen. The Gordon Ramsay restaurant in Chelsea, that 3 Michelin star restaurant that has to keep its most highest standards. Why is he so confident in that kitchen? He's confident in that kitchen because of competence, because he knows what he's doing. Now, if we find ourselves in a situation where we lack confidence, we must very first ask ourselves, how much competence do I have? Am I lacking confidence? Not because I'm an unconfident person, because that doesn't exist. Am I lacking confidence just because I'm lacking competence? Maybe I need to develop more competence, more skill, more knowledge. Maybe I need more practice. Maybe I need more repetition. Maybe I need to partake in this one particular area more in order to develop the confidence. Now, this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the biggest mistake that people make. People are confident if they are about to embark upon a certain thing, a certain mission, a certain journey, right? People seem to think that they should have levels of confidence immediately, right? If they're going to partake within a new skill set, if they're going to journey in a new direction, if they're going to go somewhere different, do something different, right? Then they feel like they should immediately have confidence. But it's not the case. Confidence gets developed. Confidence isn't something you're born with. Confidence is something that needs to be grown. Those people that we look at that have lots of confidence in any one particular area, they have started with 0 to low confidence, but they've done it anyway. Let me give you an example. Riding a bike. For all of those that have merged into adulthood, that have learned how to ride a bike, we didn't know how to ride a bike when we first got on that bike. We were not confident in our ability to ride a bike. We were not competent in our ability to ride a bike. We didn't have any idea how it was going to happen, right? But what did we do? We persisted through repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. We felt the fear and we did it anyway. You know, it's that famous quote, isn't it? Feel the fear and do it anyway. I like to say gulp and do it anyway. You know what it's like when you're gearing up to do something new, when you're gearing up to do something that you've never done before. Oh, and you're like, gulp. You just swallow, don't you? You just go and you jump in and you dive in. Right? You just get ready and you dive in. You gulp and you dive in. You feel the fear and you dive in anyway. That is how natural confidence is developed. It's developed through competence. When we are competent at any one particular thing, we don't need to look for confidence. We don't need to try to find it. We don't need to try to develop it. We don't need to wish for it. We don't need to look to other people and think, oh God, I wish I was as confident as that. Because when we have developed competence, the confidence follows, right? It follows 100% of the time. It would be extremely rare to talk to somebody who had a large amount of competence in one particular area who was unconfident in the area. They would feel confident in what it is they're doing because they know exactly what it is they're doing. And like, remember that very first quote from Tom Landry, confidence comes from knowing what you're doing. If you are prepared for something, you usually do it. If not, you usually fall flat on your face. Preparation, competence. But the biggest thing that I want to be talking about within naturally developed confidence is a loop. It's a loop. It's what they call the confidence competence loop. More competence creates more confidence, and more confidence creates more competence, because the more confident you are about doing something, the more action you're going to take. Confidence, competence, confidence, competence, competence, confidence, competence, confidence, and it loops round and round and round and round. The more competence we have, the more confident we are. The more confident we are, the more competence we develop. The more competent we are, the more confident we are, and so on and so on and so on. So if there's ever any area of your life where you're thinking, I would love to be more confident in that one particular area, that on its own is a huge leap in the right direction. Because what a lot of people do, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, I am unconfident. And don't forget, don't ever make the mistake of throwing those massive identity statements around, because that's a huge thing to literally use an identity statement as strong as I am, right? You're literally saying me, my whole being, who I am, right, is unconfident. I am unconfident. It's just one of the most outrageously inaccurate, damaging beliefs that you can hold about yourself. And what you're doing is you have that belief, and this is for those people that feel like they are unconfident people. You're holding on to that belief based on a gigantic generalization, a huge generalization. Because what you're doing is you're generalizing the sense of feeling unconfident and applying it to every single area of your life. So if you're listening to this and you think to yourself, no, I am an unconfident person. No, I definitely am. Just think for a moment how confidently you're defending that. How confidently do you defend the ability to be unconfident? No, not me. Doesn't apply to me. I am really unconfident. No, I'm really unconfident. That's me. It's who I am. I'm unconfident. You got to ask, how confidently are you saying that? Because when people say, I've had that so many times with clients, so they go, no, but it doesn't apply to me because honestly, I am unconfident. And I challenge it and I say, really? You as an individual, you are unconfident. They say, oh yeah, I really am. And I say, you're saying that very confidently. I go, I guess I am, yes. So they're showing a level of confidence in the ability and how unconfident they are. It's not applicable to every single area of your life, right? It's not applicable to every area. Now, you've got to ask yourself, is there any one area in which you feel a sense of confidence, even a little bit? Because if there's that one area of your life where you feel a sense of confidence, even just slightly, even just a little bit, then it breaks the identity statement. The I am no longer exists. It no longer works. I am unconfident no longer works because you've proven to yourself that there's an area of your life in which you can feel confidence. And the chances are that one area in which you can feel confidence, you're very, very probably competent. It's probably an area of your life in which you know a lot about, or you have a certain skill set, or you have a lot of experience. There's been various repetition throughout your life to develop the confidence that you have within that one particular area. So going back to the bicycle, what did we do as kids? We gulped. And we did it anyway. And what did we do? We fell over. And we got back on. And we fell over again. And we got back on the bike. And we kept falling over. And we kept grazing our knees. And we kept grazing our elbows. And we did it again. And we did it again. And there's a reason why we did it again. That's because the next time that we got on the bike, our level of competence was a tiny little bit bigger. Maybe not a lot, but it was a little bit bigger. And then what happened was there was this one particular moment where we were able to pedal once without falling over. And then we did fall over. And what did that do? It proved to us that we were developing competence. And then what comes with competence? More confidence. And now with that little spike of confidence, what do? Well, we try again. And then we get a little bit further. And there might be a setback at one point, but we've already started to develop the confidence competence loop. So then it goes up and up and up. It spirals upwards instead of spiraling downwards. So when it comes to natural confidence, the number one thing that you can do is recognize, if I want to develop natural confidence, I must develop competence first. And if I'm going to develop competence first, I must take action even when I don't want to. Even if I think I'm going to fall, even if I think I'm going to be laughed at, even if I'm going to be instantly not very good at this thing, or it scares me. Maybe it even terrifies you. You're looking in the face of a brand new venture and thinking to yourself, I want to develop confidence that can only really, truly, wholeheartedly come with competence. And I know I haven't yet got that. And the idea of developing it and going through the journey of developing it scares the shit out of me. But I'm going to gulp. I'm going to feel the fear, and I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to get my bum on that seat. I'm going to get on that bicycle, and I'm going to, via repetition, develop competence, which will allow me to develop confidence. Now, that's the first type of confidence. I mean, we spoke about self-confidence, which is keeping the promises that you have, that you've made to yourself. And now we've spoken about natural confidence, which is about developing competence, getting genuinely good at something. But we might not have time for that in this immediate moment. Right here, right now, we might not have time to develop competence in something in which we would like to feel confident. That is where we then start to develop inner confidence. Now, I'm going to read that quote to you one more time by Priyanka Chopra Jonas, okay? Because this is going to be very, very, very apparent when we start talking about how to develop inner confidence. I taught myself confidence. Now, again, even just in that first line, what is she doing? She's actually developing her competence. She's becoming more competent in her ability to develop confidence. But listen to the whole quote. I taught myself confidence. When I'd walk into a room and feel scared to death, I'd tell myself I'm not afraid of anybody. And people actually believed me. You've got to teach yourself how to take over the world. So let's talk about inner confidence. Now, in terms of developing inner confidence, there are three things that you want to be focusing on. Three things. And these three things are your internal dialogue, which is the voice inside your head. And Priyanka has just demonstrated that beautifully when she says, I'd tell myself I'm not afraid of anybody. That's her taking control over her inner dialogue, which is the first leg of this tripod or this triad in which I'm going to introduce you to now. The first leg is your internal dialogue, the voice inside your head. The second leg are your internal images, what you picture inside of your head, your imagination. And the third leg is your body posture, what you do with your body, your physiology, your temple, your physical body. What do you do with it? Now, those are the three legs of this triad that I'm going to introduce you to today that can develop not only confidence, but they can develop all sorts of other emotions and feelings. So you have your internal dialogue, which is the voice inside your head. You've got your internal images, which is what you see inside of your mind. And you've got your body posture. Those three things working together in tandem, working together as a team, are very, very powerful when it comes to developing confidence. Priyanka says that in order for her to develop confidence, she needed to teach herself confidence. And one of the first things that she says there is when she walks into a room, she tells herself, not anybody else, doesn't matter about anybody else, she tells herself, I'm not afraid of anybody. And as soon as she says, I'm not afraid of anybody, that is her internal dialogue working in order to allow her to feel the way she wants to feel. So I've got a question for you. If you want to feel confident, what do you need to say to yourself to convince yourself that you're feeling confident? That seems strange, right? Seems like a strange thing to say. What do you mean convince myself that I feel confident? Well, what I mean by that is those two parts of your brain that are responsible for memory and imagination, they're very close together. Reality and imagination inside of your mind is a mix. It's a big mixture. Have you ever had one of those moments where you're thinking of a memory, but you can't quite remember if it is an actual memory or if you imagined it? And you're thinking back at a time in your childhood, or maybe even something not that long ago, and you're thinking, did that actually happen, or did I imagine that? And your brain cannot differentiate between the two. It doesn't know the difference. That line, that very thin line between imagination and reality inside of your mind, inside of your brain, is a very thin line. There's spillover in a big way. And internal dialogue plays a big part. What you say to yourself, you tend to believe. Why do we do that? Why do we tend to believe the things that we say to ourselves and about ourselves? Well, what's the reason against it? Why would we not believe ourselves? Why would we not trust what we say? And this is why, like I said before, you can begin in a huge way to lack self-confidence if you do not keep the promises you make to yourself. Because if you make yourself a promise, you're going to believe that that promise will come true. If you absolutely promise yourself, I promise tomorrow I'm going to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to have a healthy morning routine. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat right before I start my day. I promise, with all of the best intentions in the world, that is what I'm going to do. You believe yourself. And then the next morning, when you break that promise, well, let me ask you this. If you had a friend that kept promising you stuff and kept breaking those promises, would you have confidence in them? Would you trust them? Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't trust them, and they wouldn't fill you with confidence. We are exactly the same. Your internal dialogue is a huge part, is a huge player in that game. We believe ourselves. We believe what we say to ourselves, about ourselves. If we're walking into a room and we're saying, oh God, I'm feeling really unconfident today. Oh, this is just scaring the shit out of me. I really wish I wasn't here. I don't think she likes me over there. Oh God, I know my boss is really angry at me. I feel very unprepared for this presentation. I don't think it's going to go very well. I think people are going to laugh at me. You know what? They might even just be completely bored. I don't think they're going to listen to a word I'm going to say. You will believe all of that. You'll believe all of it. And if you believe what it is you say to yourself and what it is you're saying to yourself is instilling a massive lack of confidence, then don't ever be surprised that confidence is not what you feel. We need to be overtly aware of the things that we say to ourselves that will make us feel confident. And this is the caveat. This is the thing. It will feel fake. It will feel like you're pretending, and that's okay. That's okay. Because don't forget, those two parts of your brain that are responsible for imagination and reality that are very close together, that can't really differentiate, it doesn't matter to that part of your brain. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. Because the more you go for it, the more repetition you have, the more you convince yourself, the more the feelings will become real. If you told yourself on a daily basis, I am confident, I do feel great, and I know everybody in this room is going to listen to what I say. Even if at first you feel utterly unconfident, you don't believe that to be true, and you find that it seems false, it seems fake, repetition, 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 baby. Keep saying it. Keep convincing yourself of its truth through repetition to the point where your brain, once again, like an imagination and a memory, will not be able to differentiate, to a point where that is your reality. And if that becomes your reality and you start to feel that level of confidence, who on earth is to tell you that that's not real? Who can tell you that that is not real, that that isn't accurate? Who is to tell you that that isn't as genuine as Tom, Dick, and Harry over there who look and feel confident more often than not? Those people that we look at, that we admire, that we say, God, they're just so confident. They're doing this, except they may not even know they're doing it. That person that walks into a room with the utmost confidence, they're either saying it to themselves because in that moment they genuinely believe it. They're saying that they're feeling confident. They're looking forward to this meeting. They can't wait to walk into that room. Or they're at least saying it to themselves at a point of trying to convince themselves that it's true. From an outsider's perspective, it doesn't matter which one. Because from what we receive is confidence. And what they give out is confidence. So please Take control of your inner dialogue. And don't ever say, oh, yeah, but I can't stop myself from saying these things, because it's one of those things that may be a struggle at first and it may feel fake, but you can stop and say, no, I am no longer saying that to myself. I am no longer putting myself down, and I am no longer filling my head with all of that shit that makes me feel unconfident. Instead, I'm going to take some time to stop and think, what would make me feel confident? Doesn't matter that it's true or not. Doesn't matter it's right or wrong, true or false, good or bad. What would make me feel confident? Okay, so what would make me feel confident is if I were to believe this. If I were to believe I am beautiful, I am strong, I am powerful, I am the most important person in this room, and I'm here to do good in the world. If those are the things to you as a unique individual that would make you feel confident, you say that to yourself. You repeat that. You allow that to become your reality. You take control of that internal dialogue. Then what you do is the second step, which is a little bit more difficult. But if you can stack this on top of internal dialogue, it will go a very long way. And that's internal images inside your head, what you can see inside of your mind. Because again, if we walk into a situation that makes us feel very unconfident, the chances are we are visualizing things that make us feel unconfident. The person who is terrified of standing up on stage is imagining people laughing at them. They're imagining people bored in the audience. They're imagining them fucking up their lines or fucking up their script or fucking up their speech or whatever. They're imagining themselves stumbling and bumbling and everything going wrong. And if you imagine that, do you think that that would fill you with confidence? For those people listening to this that think, I lack confidence, hopefully we're starting to break away from the bullshit of I am not confident or I am an unconfident person. Let's break away from that bullshit ASAP, because there are situations in which you can find confidence. There are situations where you can develop competence. There are situations which you can feel even an ounce of confidence, which proves that it's not a personality trait. It's not part of your character. It's something that can be developed and changed. Anyway, if you're finding yourself in situations that make you feel unconfident, start to pay very close attention into what images you're thinking of. What pictures are you creating inside of your mind which allow you to feel that way? Because there's a very slim chance that those are constructive images. There's a very slim chance that you're imagining yourself being very confident, feeling great, delivering what you need to perfectly, confidently, and there's a very slim chance you're saying very positive, affirming things inside of your own head if you feel a lack of confidence. There is a very slim chance those two things are happening. It's a lot more likely that your internal dialogue is knocking you down, and it's very likely that your internal images are knocking you down. And we want to take control of that, because that is how we start to develop inner confidence. Now, don't forget, the best type of confidence is natural confidence, which comes from competence. No question, no question. But if we do need a tip or a trick or something that we can use to develop inner confidence, take control of your internal dialogue. Take control of your internal images. Change the script. Change the fucking script. There is no reason, excuse, or need to continuously feel a lack of confidence. Do we feel it initially? Fucking right we do. Absolutely. Especially when trying to do something new, especially trying to do something scary, especially trying to do something meaningful that we really want to go well. Of course, you're going to feel a lack of confidence initially, but letting it persist is unacceptable now. Letting it persist cannot happen. What we must do instead is we must feel the fear, do it anyway, and whilst we're doing it, we make the effort to change our internal dialogue and change our internal images. We change the script, we change the story. At first, we feel like we're pretending, but over time, that becomes our new reality. So now what you've stacked on top of each other is you've stacked more positive internal dialogue, more constructive images inside your mind. So you're practicing and you're exercising those muscles whilst feeling the fear and taking action and doing it anyway. And by feeling the fear and taking action and doing it anyway, you're also going to start developing competence, which is the strongest natural form of confidence anyway. So we're stacking it. We're stacking it. We're stacking it. The worst thing we can do is just not do anything. The worst thing we can do is find ourselves living inside of inaction. Action eliminates fear. Fear is the thing that will stop us from developing confidence, because fear is the thing that will stop us from taking action. And therefore, fear is the thing that will stop us from developing competence. So we must feel the fear and do it anyway. We must gulp and jump in and dive in. And therefore, as we are developing that sense of competence, we can also develop our own sense of inner confidence using our internal dialogue, using our internal images, seeing what will make you feel confident. Now, in order to do this successfully, you must take some time to stop and ask yourself, what would make me feel confident? What would I have to see? What would I have to hear? You know, what images would I have to create? And what would I have to say to myself? Let's use our imaginations and say, if we were feeling confident, okay? Even if right now you're like, oh yeah, no, but not me though. Oh, no. I never feel confident. No. Don't forget, how confidently are you saying that? Stop and think, okay, if I was to feel confident, what would I be seeing inside of my mind? What would I be imagining? What would I be hearing in terms of my own internal dialogue? Now, when I stand up on stage, I don't get up on stage instantly feeling confident. I didn't get up on stage for the first time ever feeling outrageously confident, quite the opposite, in fact. But I took some time to think, what would I have to see and what would I have to hear in terms of my images and my internal dialogue to feel confident? And I made a decision that what I would have to see is I would have to see very specifically two things. One, inside of my mind, simple bullet points, so I wasn't overwhelmed with trying to remember what I was going to say. The second thing was smiling faces. If I can see inside of my own head, simple bullet points, only 3 bullet points per talk, and smiling faces in front of me, that made me feel good. And that made me feel a hell of a lot better than when I used to imagine people laughing, when I used to imagine people yawning, when I used to imagine people walking out either to go to the toilet or because they were bored, right? It's a lot more constructive picturing simple bullet points and happy faces. What did I need to hear in terms of my internal dialogue? I needed to hear myself saying, you're very good at this. This is where you belong. Instead of what I used to hear, which was, I don't think this is going to go very well. I'm really scared. People are going to laugh at us. I needed to fucking take control of that internal dialogue and those images. Now, the final leg is the instant confidence that we're talking about. This is if we don't have time to develop competence, which I highly recommend you do try. And we don't even have time to really stop and think about our internal dialogue and our internal images in depth. This is instant confidence. This is the third leg of the triad, which is our body posture, our physiology. We are going to use biofeedback as a quick little tip and trick to help us feel confident. And what do I mean by that? And again, for those people that genuinely feel as though that they are unconfident people, use your imagination. That's all I'm asking, is just use your imagination. Think when you're feeling confident, right? I want everybody listening to this to think about a situation that they have found themselves in where they have felt confident. As confident as you have ever been, the most confident you have ever found yourself. I want you to think about that situation. And I want you to think and ask yourself, how do I stand in that situation? How do I move? How do I walk? What does my body do? What does my head do? What does my chin do? What does my chest do? What do my arms and legs do? What's my rate of breathing? How loose am I? How do I move? How do I walk? It's all physiological. It's all body related. I want you to be asking yourself, what do I do with my body when I'm feeling confident? And I want you to start to make a mental image and create a list if you need to. Well, my chin does this. Okay, my chin goes up slightly. My chest pops out. My arms relax. I take some slow breaths and I walk almost like I'm fucking walking away from an explosion in a movie, right? Whatever's unique to you. But the key is to pay attention, pay very close attention to exactly what your body does when you're feeling confident, even if you just need to imagine that and do that. Do it. No ifs, no ands, no buts, no maybes, no whens. Just do it. Nike slogan, best fucking slogan in the world. Just do it. And you will feel like you're pretending. And you will feel like you're acting. And it won't feel real at first. At first. But what happens is biofeedback kicks in. There are messages that are sent from your body to your brain. And your body says to your brain, hang on, brain, wake up. Can you not see what we're doing? We have adopted the body posture of confidence. We're feeling good. We're feeling confident. Wake up, catch up. And your brain will go, oh, fucking hell. Oh, sorry, I was asleep, being all unconfident and just thinking all about how unconfident I am. Oh, hang on a minute. But your body, the way you're walking, the way you're moving, the way you're breathing, this is normally what you do when we're feeling very confident. So we're feeling confident now, right? Okay, brilliant. I better catch up. The reason that we call that instant confidence is because out of your internal dialogue, your internal images, and your body posture is the one that you can control the most. That is the one that your conscious mind has the most power over. Controlling your inner dialogue, given, can be difficult, but it can be developed. Controlling your internal images can be difficult, but it can be developed. But changing your body posture is something you can do right here, right now, whilst you're listening to this. Even if you're driving, just sit up in your chair, feel more confident, drop those shoulders. You do whatever you need to do to adopt the body posture of the confident you. And let biofeedback do the rest. Let biofeedback send messages to your brain to allow you to feel that spark of confidence. So now what we've done is we've created a 3-step ladder. Well, actually, it's a 4-step ladder, right? This is the 4-step ladder. When you want to feel confident, the immediate thing you do is you develop instant confidence. You instantly change your body posture to the confident version of you and allow biofeedback to help you give you that boost of confidence. Once you've changed your body posture, then what you want to do is you want to take control over your internal dialogue. You want to change the script and you want to tell yourself whatever you need to hear for you to develop that sense of confidence. Then once you've changed your internal dialogue, you want to change those images inside your head and you want to start thinking about the things that make you feel very, very confident. Then what you want to do after you've done that is you want to take action. You do not want to tiptoe around. You do not want to waste time. You want to feel the fear. You want to take a big gulp, and jump in and fucking do it. Because then you develop competence. And then once you started to develop competence, you don't even need to worry about the rest of them. You don't need to worry about internal dialogue. You don't need to worry about internal images. You don't need to worry about body posture. When you have competence, all of that stuff happens anyway. So that's the ladder. That's the ladder to the outrageous confidence that you can all develop, regardless of who you are, regardless. Doesn't matter. Step number 1, change your body posture. After having done that, step number 2, and you've let biofeedback kick in. Step number 2, change your internal dialogue. After you've done that, change your internal images. After you've done that, take a big gulp, take a big leap, feel the fear, do it anyway, develop competence, and you'll never have to worry about confidence again because you'll have competence. And as a side step to that, always keep the promises that you make to yourself. Always, always, always. Because that is where you develop self-confidence. You will trust yourself like you'll trust a trusted friend.